Yo, Air, you've seen Invincible, right?
Oh hey, just stop. No, what's Invincible?
Oh, really? You didn't watch it? The new Amazon Prime cartoon that came out. It's really good.
Oh, did it just come out?
Well, not exactly. It came out like 4 months ago.
Well, you know how late I always am to things like this. Anyway, it's a cartoon made by a streaming service in 2021. How good could it possibly be?
2 days later.
This is so good, dude!
Yeah, I told you. I knew you were a J.K. Simmons guy.
Dude, are you kidding? I freaking love everything this man has been a part of. Spider-Man, Whiplash, BoJack, Korra. J.K. Simmons is the man. This guy's never gone bad with the casting role.
Told you, dude. And how'd you like him in this show?
Well... watching Invincible for me was an experience I'll never forget. Honestly, it's been the only show that has had me hooked so well that it only took me 2 days to binge the entire show. The story of Invincible is a story about Mark Grayson and his life, but today's video is going to be focused on his father, Nolan, who truly made this show remarkable in my eyes. Omni-Man's twist villain arc in the first season of Invincible is truly the greatest character arc I've ever seen myself. And while it might be a pretty bold statement to say, I think Omni-Man is the greatest villain in animation. Look, I know I'm late to this whole Invincible thing, but the truth is, it was such a suspenseful and interesting 8 episodes that I immediately knew I had to make a few videos about it. So if you're into the show, I'd subscribe for some more content on it coming soon. But regardless, let's talk a bit about Nolan Grayson and his beautifully executed character arc, from innocence to fury. The story of Omni-Man starts on Viltrum. He was one of the few luckiest and strongest Viltrumites on his planet, and he was assigned Earth as the planet to weaken for the inevitable Viltrumite conquering. Eventually, he falls in love with Debbie Grayson, and they have a son together. This is really all we know from the exposition given to us after a season of twists and turns. But what makes Omni-Man so special? Well, I'd like to go back to the very first episode of the series. From episode 1, the beginning of the show, we see Omni-Man brutally murder the Guardians. This scene was both the most terrifying, confusing, and exciting scene up until episode 8. It perfectly set up Nolan as a very suspicious man, who's not exactly who he claims to be. We see that he has magnificent power, being able to destroy the Guardians like they're toys, and his ingenuity when it comes to his fighting abilities, being incredibly fast, agile, and strong. He literally slices his enemies' bodies in half with one hand. This is easily J.K. Simmons' second most powerful performance.
Get the fuck out of my sight before I demolish you.
Let's not get carried away here, at least Mark was in his tempo. Anyway, this scene in the first episode establishes to the viewer that Nolan has some shady aspects to him, and the show begins its theme of skepticism in Nolan's character, which starts with Damien Darkblood, then Cecil, then Debbie herself, until Mark finds out in episode 8. This slow trickle of skepticism is ultimately what drives you to keep watching, and the best part is that the twist reveal is the complete opposite of what you'd expect. Unless you read the comic or you're really smart, you probably wouldn't know Nolan's race is actually out to weaken Earth, not protect it. The reasons for him killing the Guardians that may come to mind might be mind control, betrayal, blackmail, drugs, I don't know, but unlike many twist villains in most animated movies and shows nowadays, Nolan's reveal is left completely unresolved until episode 8, and because of how weird he acts and how many things coincide with this event, that suspense keeps you watching, intrigued. Because the thing that sets Invincible apart from its competition is that it actually makes you give a damn about the astronomical states that our characters go through. Jump to episode 7, Nolan has figured out that Debbie knows, and this is where we get into episode 8, one of the greatest episodes of any show I've ever genuinely seen. Honestly, that train scene itself deserves an Oscar. It is absolutely heart-wrenching. In episode 8, Nolan's arc finally comes full circle and he tells Nolan the truth about how he believes humanity is a pathetic species and how he'd rather watch Earth burn to dust before living amongst these animals any longer. How even his wife's life is worthless in the great grand scheme of things, and how she's more of a pet to Nolan than a wife. How he doesn't even care if he has to wait 17 more years and make another kid to conquer Earth. How he kills thousands of innocent civilians brutally as if they were insignificant flies. All of this is amplified by J.K. Simmons' absolutely incredible performance, which just adds chills to me every time he says the line,
You don't know me.
and yet, even though he believes all those things wholeheartedly, as he pounds away at his son's face in bloody fashion, he has a flashback to Mark's childhood playing baseball, when Debbie made him understand and appreciate the gift of life, of humanity. And at that moment, as Mark says his beautiful line,
You, Dad. I still have you.
even Omni-Man can't kill his own son. In his heart, he knows he can't, and he flies off into space. Never heard from again. I think the story of Omni-Man is a storybook example of how to establish and pay off an amazing character like Nolan. How establishing skepticism in the viewer from episode 1 can make the middle episodes all the more exciting, and make episode 8 an absolute treat to watch. And while Omni-Man may be an invincible alien who came to conquer Earth, not even he can lose the one thing he gained in his time on Earth, his humanity. Thanks for watching. Shalom.